Hello, I'm Andy Wayne. I would like to share with you our experience of administering our first STEAM program to broaden participation in computer science. To give you some context, while pretty much the number of CS jobs is increasing rapidly, however, the production of undergraduate students in CS has been lagging. So back in 2013, FSU CS department decided to apply and receive our first NSF STEAM grant. And the basic goal was to provide scholarship to talented CS students with financial need and encourage underrepresented groups to major in computer science. So pretty much for the summary of this STEAM grant program is to provide student scholarship to promote participants in STEM areas, and to qualify you must be U.S. citizen, permanent resident, you must show academic ability and potential as well as financial need as defined by the FAFSA application. The maximum grant was $600K, that's what we received over 5 years. And also for that money, 85% need to be spent as scholarships, and only up to 15% of fund can be used for administrative purposes and academic support. So our goal is to increase the participation of underrepresented groups. For incoming CS freshmen, we aim to mitigate the low percentage of CS female enrollment. We explore the enhancement of our academic support system to encourage retention of females in the program. And also we want to address the underrepresented minority students' aversion to apply for student loans. For example, Hispanic students, they are 15% less likely to borrow for college and Caucasians, and also for African Americans and Hispanic students, they are more likely to work part-time. And we obtain the financial aid for basically the eligibility status of the STEAM scholarship, and to figure out whether they are qualified for need-based subsidized loan funding, and we awarded them with the matching amount, and also we did not preclude them from taking out subsidized loans. So the program components, there are a couple major ones. The first one is recruitment, and we focus students with undeclared majors who have been admitted to the university, and to select the criteria include the academic qualifications, personal qualities, and recommendation letters. And we also extended our application consideration to include the top 25% of applicants, not just the top 10%, to address the concern about top students who have completed their degree without scholarship anyways. And we conduct a phone interview to examine candidates' motivation, leadership, maturity, persistence, and dedication to obtain a degree in computer science. And the next component is retention. We hire dedicated tutors. We encourage participants to enroll in the sensitive classes that will give them more opportunities for study groups and project teams. And we have this dual enrollment program with a historically black college, FAMU. It helps us to recruit and retain more African American students with fewer African American students enrolled in the actual FSU CS programs. And we developed interdisciplinary programs with large pools of underrepresented groups, students like cybercriminology, and we also collaborated with on-campus units for free tutoring for non-CS courses. In terms of professional development, we work with our career center. We hosted CS speakers from academia and industry. We provide paid trips for scholarship recipients to visit their hometown and give recruitment talks to high schools. In terms of assessments, we measure the year-to-year persistence rate, student placements, and we also have external evaluators to provide recommendations. And in terms of dissemination of results, here we are. To summarize the results, so between the year 2013 and 2018, we recruited 83 students into 3 cohorts, 22 in the 2013 cohort, 23 in the 2014 cohort, and 18 in the 2017 cohort. And each student was awarded an average of $4,000 a year. And among them, 21 were female, 25 belonged to minority groups, and 2 had disabilities. And we increased the percentage of female CS enrollment from 16% to 20%. We increased the percentage of minority students from 27% to 33%. And as of spring 2018, we graduated 25 students so far, and include 5 females and 13 minority students, and 10 of them went to graduate school and 15 became software developers. So in terms of year-to-year persistence rate, and we compare the different cohorts, we can see that for the first year, from freshman to sophomore year, the STEM cohort had a 10+% higher persistence rate compared to non students without a scholarship. And for women, we achieved 81% year-to-year persistence rate, and for minority, 90% year-to-year persistence rate overall. In terms of predictor of college performance, again, we compare between the 2013 and 2014 cohorts with all students entered in the program in 2013 and 2014. And the high school GPA, they're comparable. ACT math score, they're comparable. But the college performance, clearly the STEAM cohorts, they have much higher GPA compared to average students. And in terms of financial need, the financial need for the STEAM cohorts are much higher than all other CS students enrolled at the same time. But interestingly, when we measure the correlation between the high school GPA and college GPA, is almost no correlation because they all enter with very high GPA. And the same for the ACT math score. For us, is slightly higher, 0.22 correlation, and for the STEAM scholars, but for other CS students, it's 0.03. And in terms of financial need, the correlation is 0. And so some potential factors that may in fact affect the persistence and college GPA outcome may include like college mentoring system provided by STEAM scholarship, or the way we monitor the STEAM scholarship application process. So in terms of student exit survey results, most important factor in their choosing to major in CS, 67% responded that knowing the fact CS major exists and the associated job opportunities is the most important factor. And also they may confuse computer science for IT, MIS, and CE. That means we should clarify the differences among them early so they wouldn't accidentally choose the wrong major. And 33% of students believe students should be exposed to CS major option back in high school. In terms of most important factor persisting in the major, 38% says it's academic support system, and 38% says it's the hands-on nature of CS, and 25% believe that computer science just fit their interest. The reason for leaving a STEAM program, while 34% of them changed majors, mostly to IT, and 24% did not fulfill the math requirement, and 18% had low GPA, 12% transfer elsewhere, and 6% had family hardship. Also, 6% became eligible for financial aid. So, lesson learned: while we underestimate the economic hardship, and at the beginning we used the email as a primary form of communication because 97% of the population for young people have email access back in 2013, but still we encountered quite a few students. They had to check emails weekly at library. That significantly slowed down the communication process. And phone access was similar back in 2013. 90% of the population got access to cell phones, but we got quite a few students only had access to line phones. It was hard to get hold of them because due to work and class constraints. And then we have to actually lengthen the recruitment timeline and adjust our interview schedules to be able to get hold of them. And in retrospect, we should have budgets on prepaid phones to ease the initial interview and coordination process. Also, another lesson is that students might not have heard about computer science, and they cannot tell the difference between computer science from IT, CE, and MIS, and they may not know about the skill sets like math required for their job markets. And that means we lost many students from the 2013 cohort to the IT department. And that means it's important to clarify the nature and requirements of computer science early during the interview process. And also, we originally planned a single cohort enrollment. It turned out to be not realistic because students came with diverse math backgrounds, anywhere from college algebra to calculus 2. And that means our cohorts were really fragmented and grouped based on the completed math prereqs. And one solution is to recruit students based on completed math prereqs, and we can, for example, target students who have not completed calculus, and which could potentially target students from poor school districts as well. Well, another lesson, while the fund distribution process was not straightforward, it was bewildering that we don't have a direct mechanism to distribute scholarships, and students had to register as vendors, and the first scholarship payment didn't happen until 2 months into the semester, and the scholarship recipient had to apply for delayed tuition payment without penalty for the first semester. So we recommend the future adapter to work through the university's bursary service to pay the scholarship in advance to avoid the delay in first payments. And some students may game the system, and we need to prevent students from dropping CS classes after receiving the scholarship. That means the disbursement of scholarship was delayed until the course drop deadline. Also need to check that all students were making progress toward completing CS degree. And we still find a loophole where students with double majors, they could claim that they were making progress toward the non-CS degree while not taking CS prereq for the semester. And later on, we start to require even double major students to take CS courses each semester. Also, students might have only short-term need, and many students had dire financial need after the financial crisis in 2011. And at that time, we were not able to distinguish the students with short-term and students with long-term need. And that means we might have missed out the opportunity to support students from families with long-term need. And for them, it means a lot more to have this upward mobility through the scholarship. And unfortunately, the FAFSA application process didn't capture this information. And also, we find some limitation of scholarships. Students struggling parents, siblings may exert pressure on students to work, and we have to tell students to separate their personal concerns from their concerns and focus on completing the program. And because after that, they can contribute more to their family. And also, if you run a program for 6 years, you're going to anticipate lots of churns of staff, and application may be sent to a previous program specialist, and the position may be vacant for months. So we adapt the following protocol. Basically, we send an email. If there's no response in a day, we'll call them. If they don't reply within a day, we will contact the supervisor. If we cannot reach a supervisor within a day, then we'll visit the unit. And also each year we have 2 PIs responsible for administering the program, just for redundancy. And monitoring students was challenging, as students might feel singled out when attending tutoring sections, and also students might not report to us when they're in trouble. So instead, we organize this thing called the homework sessions to encourage students to work on homework assignments together. And also, we hold some of batch scholarship to be distributed on the 6th week and the 11th week to encourage students to turn in their grade report forms. We also find that the year-to-year persistence rate was tricky because some students may skip terms. We might need to revise the prior year numbers when the student returns. So the other thing is the use of year-to-year persistence rate may be misleading. For example, a 90% year-to-year persistence rate compounded over 3 years may mean only 73% of students are able to progress from freshmen to seniors. So in summary, Esteemed Scholar had more than 10% higher year-to-year persistence rate from freshman to sophomore year compared to the non-Esteemed students in the same entering classes. And financial need, high school GPA, and ACT math score were not strong indicators of college performance in computer science, at least for FSU. And the academic support and hands-on nature of CS were the primary factors in students' persistence. And the awareness of the existence of nature of CS major was the most important factor for the underrepresented students to choose computer science. So just to summarize our recommendations, and we want to anticipate and accommodate students with extreme economic hardship by extending them more time and scheduling flexibility to communicate. We want to clarify the nature of computer science and distinguish computer science from IT and MIS early on. We want to anticipate the cohort forming based on the completion of prerequisites. We want to identify the scholarship distribution channel and workarounds early to avoid delays. We want to ensure students are taking CS or prereq courses each semester, including students with multiple majors. More recommendations. So when mentoring students, we want them to focus on school and separate their economic concerns from those of the parents and siblings. And we want to anticipate churn of staffs at various units and use redundant communication coordination channels to carry on operations. We want to use informal atmosphere to for mentoring and monitoring. We want to disperse scholarship funding in batches to ensure that students report their status in a timely manner. And also we need to be mindful that year-to-year persistence rate numbers may lead to revisions because students skip semesters.